All right, so we are recording and live. Here's the deal. I am super excited about today's call because it's one of the most important things that you're ever going to learn to do in the sales conversation. So today's call is all about overcoming objections. And I know when objections get thrown at us, sometimes it startles us. We get a little frazzled, not sure what to say, or we just say, okay, and kind of like walk away with our tail between our legs, like thinking, okay, they're just not ready. But the truth is, it's a perfect opportunity for you to really dig into somebody's deep desires and help them to really make a decision as opposed to leaving in a point of indecision. Because the objection says, I want it, but I don't think I can. So you want them to either be a yes or a no at the end. And so I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to move people to that point of decision, whether it's yes or no, that's not going to matter. So before we jump in, I want to make sure that you guys are all set up and squared away and ready to participate full out. So one of the things that I do want you to do is go ahead and open up the Power Players community online, because we're going to be doing a lot of the chat in there as opposed to using the chat here. We'll use the chat here sometimes within this call, but we're going to use the Power Players community for a lot of the chat. So open that up, make sure you're over there. If you're not, the way that you get to it is it's called the Power Players Playground. So just open that up, because that's where we're going to be hosting the majority of the chat today. Let's see. All right, and then I want you to post something. So I always do this because I want to get your mind focused. We have so many thoughts going on in our heads that sometimes we're overloaded with things and we can't receive information. So I want to refocus your mind on what we're doing here so that you're open to receiving. So first and foremost, what I want you to do is head over there, and I just want you to post, I am a #power player. That lets me know you're open, you're ready to receive, and that I'm in the right place at the right time talking to the right people. So go ahead and post right now, I am a #power player over in the group, and I'll be heading over there from time to time to look at it. If this is your first time ever being on a coaching call with me, whether you're going to be listening to the recording or you're here with me live right now, what you're going to find is that I'm a non-traditional coach according to the coaching industry. I don't usually do things like everybody else. I don't always start off with a story. I do a lot of this having you post as we're talking because I want to see that you're engaged and having the feedback. But here's what I know. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to give you the information that you need that can shift the trajectory of how you do life, how you can do business, and how you can really be inside of your purpose, and how you can maximize and optimize basically what you came here to do, like your divine destiny. So for me, it's important is like, how can I inspire you to do more? How can I inspire you to risk more, to take more action, to create more, to be more? And so that's really what this is about for me. So that's why I have you posting. That's why I do things a little bit differently. So let me say this. This is going to be a rock star half an hour. So half an hour is going to be where I'm going to jump in and teach you what I need to teach you about the content that I have that's about overcoming objections. Okay? But at the end of this, I'm going to do some laser coaching and some role playing with you. So we've got quite a bit of time together, but my content's going to come really, really fast. So I want you to know that. So be prepared. I did tell you all to come with a list of your most common objections. I have 35 that I want to make sure that you guys have in your arsenal, and you start to script out what you say when that objection comes up in your sales conversation. So the content's going to go really quickly, but then we're going to spend some time together. So the next thing I want you to say is this over in the group, and I need to head over there. The next thing I want to say is this: never come to an environment like this without a question in your pocket, without something that you need some knowledge on. Whenever I'm in an environment where somebody is 15, 20, heck, even one step ahead of me, I'm always going to ask questions. Why? Because there's usually always something you need to know. There's something that you can understand that can get you to that next level. I may answer it today, I may not. But, and here's the deal. Sometimes just being in the atmosphere, we think, oh, I'm just here and I'm just going to soak it all in. Sometimes that is enough for you to just be in the synergy and the excitement and the flow like this. And then you can actually get your breakthrough. And then sometimes you got to step out and you got to step up there and ask Raise your hand and say, hey, pick me, choose me. I've got a question and it's specific to my business. And I'm sharing this because I know that a lot of times it's easy to lurk in the background. I know that's easy. And all of you are in different industries. You're all in different phases of your business. And that means that there are different things that are going to work for you. So here's what I want you to understand, that my issues when I was at a different money-making phase of my business. So my issues when I was under $25,000 a year were not the same as they are today. So when I coach someone that's at $25,000 to $50K a year in that money-making phase, there may be fundamentals that are the same as someone who's at $100,000 or $500K, but in the application and the approach to them is going to be different. So if you have a question that's specific to you, and you need me to have that conversation with you about your business, you as the leader, as the power player in your business, raise your hand and I'll gladly acknowledge you and we'll role play together today. And I'll try to get to as many people as I can. I know for sure I'll be able to at least do 2 and maybe more. So just be ready for that and be open to that. So I want to welcome you to your training and coaching call. And the first thing that I'd like to do is open up in prayer, if we could do that. Just a little quick prayer. So God, I thank you for everyone under the sound of my voice. I pray that wisdom reside in this call, that all distractions be removed, and that hearts and minds are open to receive exactly what it is that they need. Amen. All right. So I want to wake you up. I want to shake you up, and I want to make sure you're in the right place and that I'm in the right place at the right time. So real quick, I'm going to have you post in the group a few things back to back to back. I don't want you to skip this step. Okay? Don't skip this step before we get started. There's a reason for everything that I do. And I'll tell you, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I truly, truly believe this. So if you find yourself sitting on the sidelines of life and watching others succeed and watching other people's success and then wondering why are they able to do that and I'm still in this position, I know that I know more, I have more certifications, I probably have more, you could have more contacts. The truth of the matter is you are likely sitting on the sidelines, often watching from afar. So let's break that cycle and get you into action today, okay? So what I want you to post in the group right now, first and foremost, is Shameca, I am ready. So head on over to the Facebook Power Players community, and I'm gonna jump in there. And I want you to post, Shameca, I am ready. Let me know you're ready. I wanna see you. Let me close this out so I can see what's going on. So Shameca, I am ready. Post that in the Power Players group. Shameca, I am ready. That's the first thing that I want you to post. Here's what I want you to know. You've got to be in action. And when you put Shameca, I'm ready, put the hashtag Power Player so I can go back through and see these things. I can pull them up just by pulling up that hashtag. So hashtag Power Player, no S. You've got to be in action. Power Players are action takers. We move, we shift. We become what's needed in the moment so that we can create what we need. All right, so I'm going to head over there and see what we have going on. All right, I see you, Joe. I see Sorrel. Awesome. All right, so you guys are ready and you're with me. I'll keep poking back over there to see what's going on. So here's the other thing. You must refuse to do this alone. I refuse to do this alone. So here's what I want you to post. I refuse to do it alone. I need you with me. Hashtag Power Player. I refuse to do it alone. I need you with me. So who is the you that I'm speaking of? Why am I having you post this? You are telling your other power players that we are in this together. Let's do this together. I cannot do this alone. I refuse to do this alone. I need you with me. So that's what I want you to post. I refuse to do it alone. I need you with me. No man is an island. You will not grow alone. You cannot grow alone. You need people alongside of you to help support you, guide you, partner with you to get to that next step. So the thing I want you to post is I refuse to do it alone. I need you with me. Hashtag Power Player. Okay, The next one that I want you to post, and I told you I'm going to have you posting a lot of things back to back to back, because again, I want your mind open. I want your hearts open, because I'm about to pour something in there, and I want to make sure you're focused in the right space. So here's what you're going to post. Today, I end my sideline game. Today, I end my sideline game. No more standing on the sidelines watching other people play hard, watching other people be power players, watching other people's success. Today, I'm ending my sideline game. Hashtag power player. That's the next thing I want you to post. I know it's a lot, but just keep posting and stay with me here. Keep posting and stay with me. We're going to be starting with the content in just a second. The next thing I want to know is this. So go ahead and post that. Today, I end my sideline game. Hashtag power player. I want to know what the breakthrough that you need now is. So you know this call is about overcoming objections in the sales conversations. You know your own experience with that. Today, what is the breakthrough that you need now? So the breakthrough I need now is hashtag power player. You let me know what you need. And let me pop over there so I can see what's going on. Awesome. Thank you, guys. What is the breakthrough that you need? Power Players Unite. I like that, Joe. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so what is the breakthrough that you need? Head over to the Power Players Playground in the Facebook community and post for me. The breakthrough I need now is. What is the breakthrough that you need now? I want to know, what you came here for today? You're not just on this call to waste your time. You're on this call because you need something. You're on this call because there's something that you need to take your sales conversations to the next level. So what is it that you need? What is it that you need today? So the breakthrough that I need now is, and let me know what that is. Make sure you hashtag power player so I can pull these up later and look at them. Okay. Couple of more things I want you to post. Okay. The other reason why I want you to post the breakthrough you need most is, before I give you the content, I want you to have and call forward in the front of your mind that thing that you desire, so that when it comes up, it hits you. It hits you in your spirit. Aha, that's exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I came. So I want you to pull it from the back, because right now you've come from doing all kinds of things. All kinds of things are running through your mind. So I want you to focus. What is the breakthrough that you came for, so that when you hear it, you receive it. Okay, you receive exactly what you need. So again, why am I having you post these things today? Today we're talking about overcoming objections. I need you shifting now before we even get there. I need you to have a different conversation now, in your head, in your spirit. I need you to be in a different state right now. Remember, the thoughts that you have in your head that I talked about, thousands and thousands of thoughts that you don't even know you're having, most of them are programmed to the negative. We are shifting that right now. Some of you have what I call stinking thinking. Everything you think about is negative. Every time you think something, it's about the negative of that thing. And there's a different experience. Here's what I want you to know. You're in this space where you have seen things. You've been through things. We talk about this, things that I don't even know where you've been through. But there's a different experience when you go to McDonald's versus Ruth Chris, which is like a steakhouse, or versus the Four Seasons against the Ritz as a hotel, right? Some of you are sitting and seated at the table at McDonald's when you were designed and destined to sit at the Ruth Chris table. And I've got to come and pull the chair from underneath you and say, no, babes, you're not meant to be here. We've got to get to the Ritz. You are meant to be somewhere else. This is an up-leveling conversation that we're having right now, and it starts in your mind. So I will always start our calls off with you posting and shifting your being and your thinking in that moment. That's what this community is all about. It's about upgrading. It's about up-leveling. Some of you are in a Nissan state of living, destiny, being, running your business, and there's a Benz waiting for you. Some of you are in the Mercedes level of your destiny, and there's a Bentley waiting on you. And I'm really okay with shaking you and getting in your face and saying, let's not just dream bigger, but let's be strategic about how we activate that dream so that it becomes reality, so that it becomes real. Yes? Do you hear me? Are you guys with me? Yes, yes? Okay, so the last two I'm going to have you post before we jump into the content here. The last one is I am ready to be upgraded. Hashtag power player. If you're here in my community, you're here because you have a desire to up level what you're doing in your business, whether that's selling at a higher rate or a higher volume or higher prices, bigger offers, going to corporations, whatever that is, you have a desire to upgrade and up level where you are. So I want you to put, I am ready to be upgraded. Hashtag power player. Let me head over there and see if you guys are posting. I'm checking. I want to make sure you're with me. With me. All right, so the breakthrough I need most is to only focus on my 2 offers. Yes, the breakthrough I need now is to introduce this new product to people. Awesome. The breakthrough I need now is to stop throwing up information on people and start emotionally engaging others to buy for results. Awesome. Love those. All right, you guys are with me. You're engaged. I'm loving it. That's the church girl in me. You guys are being my amen corner right now. You don't even know it. I'm like, that's really what's going on. Okay, so let me go to my notes to make sure that I am on track. I don't want to miss some things. Okay, so the last one was I'm ready to be upgraded. Hashtag power player. Here's the final one, and this one is important. I want you to type, universe, I am ready. I'm not ready. I am worthy of receiving more. This is a serious conversation for sales conversations. It's a serious conversation to have when we're talking about objections. Universe, I am worthy of receiving more. Hashtag power player. Post that in the group. You must say that. That is not optional, because when circumstances approach us, Rika, when people start telling us why they can't buy, Joe, right? When objections hit, Sorrel, we start to question ourselves. We start asking, am I worthy? Is this really what's supposed to be happening for me? Am I really supposed to be selling this? Am I really supposed to be doing this? Can something good continually happen through me and for me? And the answer to that question is yes, absolutely yes. You see, when you're shifting the way that you're being, which is what you're doing, when we're shifting the way that we're showing up in the world, the way we run our businesses, the way we deal with and talk to prospects and clients, it can be an exhaustive process, and it can be emotionally overwhelming, because you're thinking like, I'm throwing everything I have against the wall and everything I can against the wall, and nothing is sticking. Yet you have to remember to keep putting one foot in front of the other and knowing that you are worthy to receive more. And the more you lean in and know that, and the more that you are committed to that, Lisa, I'm here to tell you that you can break through and break free, and you will get to that next level, but there is a process in getting there. Are you with me? There's a process in getting there. So there's just not the big breakout moment. If there was, I can tell you right now, I'd be there already, okay? Seriously, do you know how much there is that I want to do in the world? There's a lot. So I'm asking you to trust the process. Trust the process. And I'm super happy to be a part of it. So again, the last thing that I want you to post here in the group is, I am ready to be upgraded. Hashtag power player. You guys can continue to post in the book group as something speaks to you or you have an aha moment, but this is just the priming for me to get ready to speak to you. I want you to be open. I want your hearts open. I want your minds open. So again, the last two, I am ready to be upgraded. Hashtag power player. And I am worthy to receive. Hashtag power player. All right. Awesome. So, you know what? Let's do one more. I want to do this because objections hit us so hard. I know what it's like to have somebody say, I can't afford it, I need to talk to their spouse, or they tell you, follow up with me, and then they just disappear off the face of the earth. It hits us hard. So the last one I want you to post is this, one more. I am amazing. And if you're really feeling it, you could type, I am freaking amazing, whatever you want to say. I am amazing. I want you declaring that, okay? I want you to listen and approach these conversations and the objection portion of this conversation from that space, Okay, I want you receiving this conversation that we're having today, this learning, this training from the space of I am freaking amazing. Okay, I am amazing. I am amazing. I am amazing. However many times you need to post that, because that's where I want your mindset right now. You have what your clients need, your prospects need, or else they wouldn't have the initial conversation with you. They wouldn't be asking you questions about your program, your product, or your service. There is something that connected them to you, and you are amazing and you can deliver that. So I want you to come from that space. All right, so we're going to dive into this right now. Like I said, this training is going to be super quick. The majority of the time is going to be spent with me doing role playing with you guys. And I noticed that some of you guys are on phone lines and not on video. So I'm not quite sure what you are seeing or if you'll be able to chat. So maybe we'll use the Facebook group for you to be able to raise your hands and let me know that you want to do some role playing and have a question. All right. So the biggest mistake that I see when people have a sales conversation and they get to the objection, and you know what, let me ask you this. I want you to post for me. When an objection comes up in your sales conversations, what's the first thing, what's your default reaction? Post it in the group for me. You can post it in chat if you want to, if that's easier for you on the online, because I can still see that there. But what's your default? How do you react initially? You can give me one word, you can give me a sentence. I want to see that. So you're at the end of a conversation, you make your offer, and somebody says, oh, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not ready. I don't have enough money. I need to talk to my husband. I need to talk to my wife. Let me think about it. Oh, what about this one? Do you have something I can look over? Do you have some a website I can go to or some material that you could send me? What's your initial gut reaction when an objection comes up in the conversation? And then I'm going to share with you the number one mistake we make when an objection comes up. I'm going to share with you how to maneuver through that. So I'm looking in the group. Let's see what we got going on here. What's your number one gut reaction that comes up for you? Agreeing with them. And I'm going to take that a step forward, Rika, and say agreeing with them is like believing them, believing that that's the truth. Sorrel says, question is, okay. Yeah. So again, that's kind of like agreeing, but not really challenging it. All right. So let's move on. Here's the number one thing that we do typically. Oh, I got something in chat. Let's see. To please their request. So whatever that is. So even if you didn't have a web page, you're like, oh, let me get one together. You don't have something to send them, but you're like, let me type up something real quick and send it over to you. And normally what happens, the number one mistake, I'm going to give you a few mistakes that people make, and all of these are good. I love the fact that you guys are all in the same vein of just agreeing and believing that what they're telling you is the truth, because I'm going to tell you, usually the first objection that comes up is not the truth. How many times have you been in a store? And I hate to say this, but I've heard this over and over again. Buyers are liars. It rhymes, so let's just use it right now, just so that it can sink in your mind and you can use it. Buyers are liars. Just remember that. Buyers are liars. Buyers are liars. Okay. It rhymes. It's good. You can hone in on it. So remember when you get the first objection. Okay. So you're in the store and you're shopping for a new pair of jeans. And you specifically went to that store. They have the jeans you want. You know that you want to buy them from there. You're just not sure exactly which pair you want to buy. You know, whether you want the 501s, 502s, whatever. You're trying to figure out what type of jeans, what color, anything. And so the salesperson comes over and says, may I help you? Is there something I can help you with? And what is your initial gut reaction? Oh, no, I'm just looking. Just looking. I'm just looking. Buyers are liars. You're not just looking. You're ready to buy. You came to purchase something. But we have this adversity that initially pops up when somebody's trying to sell us something that says, no, walls up. I don't need your help. I can figure this out myself. Think about that when your clients are talking to you. Their initial, I'm just looking. I need to talk to my husband. Can you send me something? That is the fear of being sold. That's that initial reaction. Sometimes you say, I'm just looking without even thinking. I've told people that I'm just looking when I actually needed help, and I had to call them back real quick because I was in that initial, that it's just a mindless gut reaction. Your clients, your prospects are doing the same thing in the sales conversation. We have walls that come up, things that we do to protect ourselves from being hurt. I have literally been in the store trying to find something specific and not being able to find it. I'm looking for it, and I know that I'll eventually get there. But when somebody comes over and says, can I help you? I go, no, thank you. I'm just looking. And it happens so quickly. They're walking away. And I'm like, wait. I'm looking for this specific thing. Can you point me in the right direction? I've gotten better with that because I'm trying not to operate mindlessly in life, not to go through life on autopilot. But the people that you talk to, they are doing this. And we tend to take it personally. We're like, oh, shoot, another person doesn't want it. Oh, shoot, another objection. What do I do about this? Do not trust that first objection. It's usually not the truth. It's that initial gut reaction. It's probably the excuse they give everyone every time, no matter what the circumstance, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. I also want you guys to realize that the objections that you use on people, especially your gut reaction ones, are probably the ones that show up in your world more often. I want you to take inventory of that and think about that. What do you normally say when you're not sure, when you're not ready quite yet? Instead of saying, I'm not ready quite yet, I'm not sure, I need more information. What's the thing that you normally tell people to get them off the phone or to not buy from them? I guarantee you that objection is likely the objection that shows up for you most often during your conversations because you get what you focus on. So I want you to practice being really real about why you're not buying when you talk to other people. So here's the biggest mistake. So other than simply agreeing with them and trusting that as the truth, that's mistake number one. But there's a bigger mistake than that you can have when you approach the conversation moving forward. And I want you to write this down if you can. That mistake is becoming defensive, defending why they should buy, becoming defensive. And here's how it shows up, and I wrote these down. So you begin to argue with them. Okay, so they've told you why they're not ready to buy or why they don't want to buy right now, and you begin to try to argue with them about, here's why you should buy this. You need this because if you don't, this is what will happen. You try to convince them. Well, mine has this and this and this feature and that feature, and it's much better than this one or that one. You're not going to find a better. You start to convince. You become defensive. Okay, that's never going to get you there. The third one is proving. And it's sort of along the same line as convincing, but proving is more like, this will really work for you. Here's how it will work for you. So when somebody gives you an objection, I'm not sure this will work. I'll need to talk to my husband or my wife. And you start to say, hey, you really need to do this because, and what that breeds or what it just oozes and feels like is desperation to the client. Here's what I want you to know. Your clients already have their answers. They already know inside what the answer or the solution to the problem is. You don't have to convince them. So I want you to take a step back and not get defensive when an objection comes up, no matter what that objection is. Even if you have to sit in silence for a moment to gather yourself. Whatever the objection is, do not begin to defend, prove, convince. None of that. And first and foremost, do not believe them. Okay? Don't believe until you verify that it's the truth. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You guys ready? All right. I hope you're with me. Okay. Here's what I want to say too. If questions are coming up, I don't have a way for you to raise your hand, but if you're on chat, you can post the question in chat and I'll circle back to it later. If you're in the Power Playground community, post there. I'll run through there and scroll through there and see if I can answer some questions that are on there a little bit later. All right. So again, first and foremost, you take a step back. You don't trust that initial objection and you do not defend. You do not have to say, here's why my program, here's why you should buy it. Well, let me tell you why. Don't go there. But I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So your first step, get in quiet, silence, and gather yourself before you say another word. Gather yourself before you say another word. Trust that the client, know that the client has the answer. They're the only ones who can answer whether or not the program is good for them. You cannot. It doesn't matter if you know. So the only way that you get them to answer their own questions or to get them to make that decision is by asking questions. So there are several ways to, actually I want to go back. There's another point that I'd written down. I want you guys to know this or remember this. The more you serve, the more you sell. Okay? So you want to serve them. And I'm going to share with you a few ways to do that. This questioning process is one of them. But the other thing is, if money, which is the number one objection, ends up being the issue, you want to serve them and walking them through that decision-making process also. Just keep serving until the call is over. Okay? So whether or not they say yes in that moment, likely they'll come back. The more you serve, the more you sell. Okay? All right. So let's go to the questioning. So again, this is why I'm telling you that you want to approach this conversation with the mindset that you are amazing, because their objection is not about you. It's not about your program. It's not about whether or not it's good enough. You can let go of all of that, whether or not it can get the job done. It's about what happens inside of us when it's time for change or for a decision-making process to happen. That initial gut reaction is, no, what's my protection mode, my safe mode? We go there, and then it takes a decision-making process to be able to move through that fear, that initial roadblock, okay? So don't believe the first thing they say. Don't defend. And do take some time to just breathe before you move forward. And you always want to leave with the question. So the next thing out of your mouth should be a what? I should see you guys posting this. Question. The first thing out of your mouth after an objection should be what? I want you guys to post. The first thing out of my mouth after an objection should be a question. Can you guys post that for me in the community? I see what we have going on over there. Yes. Ha. Yeah, we give up too easy. All right. Question, question, question. I want you to ingrain that in your head. Question, 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 question. I'm going to teach you this questioning process. All right. So the questioning process is all about you deciphering and analyzing what your client's really trying to say to you. And you won't know that unless you ask questions. So that's really what we're doing. So let me give you an example. And I have an example up here that I wrote out that I scripted for you guys so you could have it. So here's an example of this. So for an example, your prospect says, I want to be in your program, or I want to buy your course, or I want to buy your product, but I don't have the money. Wow, that price is too much. Well, let's not say the price is too much. Let's just say I don't have the money. That's the objection. So the objection is I don't have the money. Okay? The question that you ask first, you can use this series of questions for anything. Okay? You're going to learn as you spend more time with me. And as time goes on, you'll learn different ways to diffuse objections. And in fact, I'll introduce a few of those to you today. But the questioning one is the one we're going to go through. The first question you always want to ask them is that true? Is that true? You guys with me? First question is always, is that true? Doesn't matter what the objection is. Right now we're dealing with, I don't have the money, but is that true? Then you want to ask them, do you really want this? Do you really want to be in the course? Do you really want to be in the program? Do you really want this product? So is that true? Do you really want it? With me? Then you want to ask them why. So you're going to say, yeah, I really want it. I really want to do this. I need to do it. Why? Why do you need to do it? So you want to get them in touch with it. So first question is it true? Do you really want it? And then why? Have them tell you why, because now you're no longer convincing them. Let them get in touch with their own why. Okay? And they'll start to tell you, and you need to be writing down what they're saying. I need this because, and they're going to tell you, I need this because I've tried everything else. I need this because if I don't do it, this is going to happen. They're going to tell you why they need it. Okay? This is you stepping up and being a power player. Every call needs a leader. Every sales conversation needs a leader, and that leader is you. Every call needs a leader, that leader is you. Remember that. Every call needs a leader, that leader is you. Every sales call needs a leader, that leader is you. Every sales conversation needs a leader, and that leader is you. This is your opportunity to lead, not to put your tail between your legs and go, okay. Or like I saw in the online community, here's my card. Lead, be a power player, step up. Okay? This is about them, their bigger vision, their goals, their dreams, remember? All right, so questions. Is it true? Do you really want it, and why? Okay? So if the answer is yes, if they say no, I don't really want it, then they're not a good fit. Let them go. Okay? If they say no, why are we even having this conversation? Again, lead. Conversation is over at that point. Do you really want it? If they say yes, which they should if you've spent this much time with them, because you're at the point where you're making the offer, if you made the offer, then you ask them why. You've asked them why do they need it, right? Or why they want it. So do you really want it? Why? The next question is, why is this right for you? Then they can share with you all the reasons why it's a right fit. See, now you're not telling them, well, this is good for you because of this. They're telling you. You're walking them through this process psychologically. They're walking themselves through the decision-making process. So why is this course, this program, this product or service the right fit for you? Tell me that. Remember, the objection is money. So we're walking them through this process. So once you find out why it's the right fit for them, again, you're writing their answers down because this is all the things you're going to use as you walk them through this decision-making process. Remember, they're scared and they just want you to say, take my hand, we're going to do this together. You want X, Y, Z. You already know this program is a good fit because you told me this, 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 and this. Let's get you there. I'm going to be here every step of the way. That's all they're looking for, is that confidence to make that decision. Okay? The next thing you want to ask them, why is this something your business needs, your health needs, your family needs, whatever it is that you're selling, okay? Your body needs. Why is this product, service, or program something that your, whatever it specifically the results are tamed to? So in my instance, it would be, why is this program something that your business needs? So do you see these series of questions that we're walking them through for rationalizing them for themselves, why it's a good investment? And it really doesn't matter what the objection is. These are the same series of questions you can walk people through. So why is this program something your business needs? And they'll tell you, because I need, to make more money. I need to have more clients. I need to have this done so I can reach more people. They're going to tell you why it's something they need. So you ask them a bunch of why questions. So they're justifying why. You're not defending and justifying why. They're telling you why. Okay, I'll come back to that question later. And then you're going to ask them this. So now you've asked 3 why questions. So it's, why do you really want to be here? Why is this the right fit for you? Why is this something that you need, or your business needs, or your health needs, or you need for your health? So it's why. Why do you really want it? Why is it the right fit? Why do you need it? Okay, those are the questions. Now you're going to ask a how question. Okay, how will you get, remember the things I told you to write down that they need? So money. How will you lose weight? How will you feel more pretty? How will you get more PR? How will you get more traffic? Find a man, whatever it is that they desire or want, without this course, without this program, without this training, without this product. How are you going to do it? You're going to walk away from this conversation right now. Tell me how you're going to make it happen. Because 9 times out of 10 people will think that they can do the same thing over and over again, and they're going to get a different result. And what is that? It's the definition of insanity. You got to do something different. You got to input something different in to get a different result. So tell me, and people will tell me things like, okay, I just need like in 3 months, I'll come back and revisit it again. And I know that 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, when anybody comes back to me 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, if they come back at all, they're in the same position they were when I left them or worse, because you will not be, they're missing a piece, and you are that piece of what they need. So ask them, bring that up to their forefront, put it in their face. How are you going to make it happen? How are you going to get XYZ without this? And they might say, I don't know. Or they'll begin to try to figure out a plan. Usually at this point, they realize, I'm not going to get it. It's not going to happen. And then the next question you want to ask them is another how question. How much time do you think it will take for you to accomplish your goal by not having this and not having the accountability, by not having access to the right tools, trying to figure out which tools you use on your own, Googling and attending free workshops and seminars and trying this product and that product and messing up everything because you don't know which way to go. You don't have the guidance and the accountability to get there, to get to the end result. So that's the next question. It's a how question. Okay. How much time do you think it will take you to accomplish it on your own is really what you're asking them. Okay, there's different ways you can word the question based on what I just said. So the point is this: when an objection comes up, and I don't know that you have all been doing this, the very first thing that you want to do is ask a question. And I've just given you a very powerful series of questions that you can ask that will allow you to walk the client through their own decision-making component. And I will tell you that normally when I walk people through this, they go, you're right. So if money is really the objection at this point, it becomes, how do we figure out how to get the money? And then I walk them through that. I'll ask them, would you like for me to help you figure out or find the money? And I've done this with people. I've had clients sell things on eBay. We figured out that there's access to loans. They didn't realize they can do a payment plan. There's so many things that first initial gut reaction of I didn't have the money blocks them out from looking at the possibilities for themselves. So you walking them through this helps and allows them to do that. So you're asking them questions for a couple of reasons, okay? The first reason is this. You want to help them to get into reality, because remember, the first objection is usually not the truth. They're just gut reaction. You want them to get into the reality of the situation. You're not going to hang up the phone with me and be better off. You're not going to get out of this conversation and tomorrow, have what you think you need to have. The second thing is you want to see why. You want them to see why they do need to figure out a way to get the money for the product, program, or service, because you have what they want. So all of these questions help them to see why it's important for them to make this happen. Why is it important for them to make this happen? So I'm going to run over to the Facebook group and see what we have going on here to make sure I don't have any questions. We reset this. You guys are watching my eyes get all big as I'm looking. Okay, so there's a few things. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, okay. All right, all right, all right. So there's a couple more things I wanted to cover before I do some role playing with you guys, and then we're going to jump into the role play. So the first thing is I want to tell you there's several techniques to overcoming objections. Today we're just focusing on questioning. So as I go through each one of the objections, hopefully you guys will be writing them down. I'm going to go through all 35. At the end, I'm going to show you how to help people figure out how to come up with the money. And then I'm going to open up for role playing. So I'll probably open up for role play before I do the how to come up with the money. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. But there's several ways to objections. So the very first way that you can do it, aside from questioning, is with a story. Okay, so one of the most powerful ways to handle objection is to tell a story. And the reason is that stories are so persuasive that they act as an invisible selling tool. Stories also suspend time, so they're no longer in the moment with you, they go somewhere else. Okay, if you identify true stories that really address the objection, so like I just kind of told a story about a client who sold something on eBay. I tell that story in detail about what she was thinking. I take the client through that story and what it took for her to come to that decision and how she was able to enroll in that program right away as a result of that. Sometimes I do that as a way to diffuse an objection. Okay. So one way to start a story off is to say something like, that reminds me of a story of a client who was in a similar situation. Let me share with you what they did. And then you begin to tell the story. So a story is another way to diffuse an objection. We talked about questioning. That's what we're doing today. One way is to solve the problem. So the way number 3 to diffuse an objection is to solve the problem. Okay. But you need to identify that it is solely the problem. So you need to do what we call in sales, isolate the objection to solve the problem. You can't solve the problem that's not the truth. And usually the first objection is not the truth. It's not that they don't have money or any money at all. It's usually that they're afraid or they're not sure it's going to work. They don't trust you. They don't trust themselves to do the work. There's lots of things, lots of reasons why that objection comes up. So you want to isolate the objection before you get to the point of solving that problem. So like I'm talking about later, sharing with you guys how to show people how to find the money. Well, you just don't want to jump to that point. You want to go through diffusing the objection first, then making sure that that objection is, if the money is really the problem, then we can work on the money part. I don't even give people payment plans until I'm sure that money is the only issue that they have. So when somebody says, I can't afford it, that's too much, I don't say, oh, we have a payment plan. I go through this process. I go through this process of questioning because I want to make sure. I don't believe them. Remember, buyers are liars. So I take them through this process, and once I'm sure and I've isolated the fact that this is the problem, then I go, okay, well, let's see. The first thing we can do is let's see if we can find the money, or yes, there's a payment plan. I go through that. So what you want to do is you're going to say, they say I don't have the money. Okay, I can appreciate that. I hear you. But if money weren't an issue, would you do this program? Aside from money or other than money, is there anything else preventing you from taking action today? Aside from the money, aside from you not having the money, aside from it costing too much or whatever the case may be, is there anything else that you can think of that would stop you from moving forward today? If money wasn't the issue, if money were no object, would we be moving forward today? Anything else you can think of? And you would be surprised. Sometimes people will say, well, I'm not sure this is going to work for me. Now I found the real objection. It's not the money. It's that. Sometimes it really is just the money. Okay? Or they'll say, if I spend this money, my husband will kill me. My wife will kill me. I've spent, $20,000 in the last 2 years, and I'm still in the same place I was when I started. That's a whole different issue that you need to deal with. Now you've isolated it. So before you begin to solve the problem, you need to make sure, you need to isolate the objection and make sure that there is nothing else. Be clear that this is the only issue that we're dealing with, because if you're solving for the wrong problem, it's still going to end in a no. Okay? Okay. Let's see. I think those are the biggest ones. I don't want to pull up too many things. I think if you guys have those powerful tools in your arsenal, you really can up-level your sales conversation. So isolating the objections, telling a story, and questioning are the top ways that solving the problem, but you don't solve, all of these have to happen by isolating and making sure that that's the objection. Those are the top 3 ways to really diffuse objections that come up in sales conversations. What else do I want to say here? I think that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and go through these, and I probably will share my screen so that you guys can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of these objections just by reading them. And then we're going to do some role playing if you guys are up for it. Let me look at this question first. Are these questions usually after a training, or how do they know the value if we haven't told them the value? Joe, I'm going to unmute you because I'm not sure what you're trying to say. So give me a second. Let me figure out what I'm doing here. There you are. Okay. All right. So tell me what you're trying to ask me.
So, okay, you're a hammer because you've been trying to sell stuff forever. And so all these different situations keep popping up and you just keep seeing nails. Right? So everything else that you said, like, is awesome. But, you know, like, which point do you feel like there's a transition there? Like, you know, are you having a conversation with somebody and a nail pops up in front of you? Or, like, you're asking them these questions because they went through a strategic marketing sequence and you've just delivered training to them?
Mm-hmm. So I will tell you that anytime you're at the point where you've made an offer or sold to people and then an objection comes up, then that's when you would use this sequence of questioning. Does that make sense?
Yes and no.
Okay. So ask me the question you need to ask me.
Well, just rephrase your answer again.
Okay. So let's say it depends on what you're selling. So let's say I'm at a networking event and I have a table and I have things for people to buy. So let's say I have my product here. And they say, oh, you know, sales breakthrough. That's great. They look at the back of it. They're like, oh, this is awesome. How much is it? And I tell them it's, you know, $197. And they go, oh, that's a lot. Well, what's a lot? A lot compared to what? So now I start questioning. I start this series of questionings. The same sequence that we talked about. So yes, you can do it in that sense. If you're selling right on the spot, you can do the same thing there. So anytime you've made an offer, and I'm hoping that you don't make offers before you've taken people through the decision-making process, which is presenting your value, right? So anytime you've made an offer and someone gives you an objection, you want to use this questioning series. So whether it's that they've been through a marketing phase and now they're on a discovery call or a strategy session with you, or you're selling someone something and an objection comes up. I can't buy this right now and here's why. Well, there was a reason why you were looking at it, so let's talk about that. You wouldn't be standing here if you didn't have a need for this. So now our series of why, you know, how questions come up at that point, right? And the higher end, I mean, I deal with high-end sales. Most of my clients are selling higher end, so these questions really, we're not dealing with $197 products. We're dealing with $5,000 and above. So these questions are really like necessary because it's a huge investment that people have to make a decision to make. So why do you want the product? Why were you interested in buying it in the first place? And they'll tell you, well, I was thinking I had this situation or that situation. All right. Why do you feel like this would be the right choice for you? And they're going to tell you this, 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 and this. Okay, why is this something that you need in your business? Why is it something you need in your life? Why is it something you need for your health? So anytime you've made an offer and then there's an objection, these questions work. They're super powerful for high end. You know, there's not usually a real strong why behind a $5 lipstick. You know what I mean? Or a $50 bottle of perfume or lotion or something like that, unless there's health benefits involved, life or death kind of thing. But the higher the dollar amount, the more these questions make people go in and go, what am I thinking? I'm saying I can't afford to do this. I really can't afford not to because this is what it's going to cost me. But you're not convincing them by the right questions. They're telling themselves why. Why now is the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if you were at that networking event a networking event. So you don't got products sitting in front of you and someone's having a conversation with you and you're like, oh, my 197 product would be amazing for you. Do you deliver like a little bit of a value to them and then say this product would be perfect for you?
I'll be honest with you, in a situation like that, I would probably never offer somebody a product that I didn't have on hand, like from a table or something like that. I'd get them into a conversation or get them into my value sequence. I have something I want to gift you. So I'll give them the free training, whatever gets them into that free opt-in, that gets them to get the value, to get to the next step, I would give them that. And I tell them, oh, it's worth $97, but it's going to be my gift to you for free. I'm going to give it to you right now. And I put them right then and there. I open up my autoresponder and put them in there. I just need your email address, your contact information, sending it to you right now. People are so appreciative of that. That's what I do when I do those 3-day events. That I never leave a 3-day event having made less than $3,000 because I'm on the spot. I don't carry business cards for that reason. There is no, here's my business card. Let's connect intentionally. You know, if you want to learn more, here's what I can do for you. I have this, free 2.5-hour training or 3-hour training that I did. It's about XYZ. It answers that question that you have, plus, and I give them some of the other results, and I put them in my autoresponder right then and there. If they want a strategy session, I put them on my calendar right then and there. I'm sending it to you right now. Here's what's going to happen next. You're going to get an email from me. It's going to ask you to do one of two things. It's going to ask you to put yourself on my calendar, but we're going to schedule your session right now while we're talking since we both have our calendars in front of us. But there's 3 homework assignments you're going to have to do. So I walk them through this process. They're getting value, and I'm leading already, right? Every sales transaction needs a leader, and that leader is you. So I'm already showing them I'm serious about what I'm doing, and I'm adding value to them already immediately in the spot. So I've had people review my training while they're at an event where somebody else is training, and we're starting that process right there. They'll come back the next day and go, I listened to that. I loved it. We need to talk. So that's what I'll do in that situation. If I don't have a product on hand or have a table or I'm sponsoring or something like that.
So basically you've just learned to quit being a hammer.
Yes. Yes. Because I'm choosy about who I bring into my world too. So remember, you're amazing. And they might not be as amazing as you want them to be. They might not be ready for you. So if they're not ready, how will you know that if you don't walk them through this process? What's the point of handing out as many of your products as you possibly can if people aren't going to use them, or then you're not affecting change. You're not doing what you came here to do. When you give people some tools, you want them to use them. And then again, they become raving fans for you and they do selling for you. So we don't just want to sell to people just because we have the ability to sell. We want to sell to the right people for the right reasons. So they're not just trying you out, you're trying them out to see if they're ready for what you have to offer. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to put you back on mute. And actually, I think that we're probably almost ready for role play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these 35 objections. I'm not actually going to give you guys a sequence for each one of them. I'm going to give them to you because I want you to script out your own questioning segment for each one of these. Now, the truth of the matter is these questions I gave you work for anything, but I want you to think about it. I want you to write in for each one. What's a story that you can tell? You don't have to have a story for each one, but I gave you 3 ways to diffuse an objection. One is to question, one is to tell a story, and then the other one was to solve the problem. So I want you to walk yourself through each one of these 35. If you have a story, put the story in that you're going to tell, how you're going to tell the story. If you have the series of questions, what are the questions you're going to ask? What's the first question out of your mouth when that objection is the objection? Is it true? Is it, what is too much? Whatever the question is. Your series of questions, and then if you're going to solve the problem, how will you help them solve the problem? And again, that's in service. The more that you serve, the more that you sell. So solving the problem is not convincing. It's not in that defensive mode. It's how can I be of service to get you to the space that you need to be in? If this is truly a problem, how can I help you solve it? Okay. All right. So, it looks like you muted yourself, or did I do that? I have no idea. No. Okay. All right, so here we go. And I'm going to share my screen with you. so you can see these, because sometimes I know I don't talk. I talk fast. I get excited. All right. So share my screen. And okay. So I got these top 35 objections from someone I took some coaching and training from, and I'm going to share them with you guys. Okay. So, because I thought this list was very exhaustive and cool. So the very first one is I don't have the money, which I just kind of scripted and role played you guys through that one. Okay. I don't have the money. I'd love to, but I don't have the money. So write that one down. And again, for each one of these, if you have a story, you want to put a story in. That's your homework for this. If you can solve the problem, how would you help them solve the problem? And then what's your line of questioning for this? The next one is my husband won't let me or isn't in agreement. My husband won't let me or isn't in agreement. The next one, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. I'll tell you a good first question for this one is, why is now not the right time? And for me, because people have to jump through so many hoops to get on the phone, I'm wondering, why did you even go through this process if it's not the right time? Why are you looking? If it wasn't the right time, it wouldn't be in the forefront of your mind. I don't go through that defensive mechanism, but I understand that in my mind that can't be true. Nothing appears to us. When things show up in our world, it's because we're ready for it. Until you're ready. You know that statement, when the student is ready, the teacher appears? When they're ready, it's always the right time. They show up in your world, okay? The fourth one, I've been to so many seminars, I'm just trying to apply what I already know. I bought so many programs, I need to get through what I currently have. The truth I know about this one, instead of saying, okay, the truth I hold in my spirit as I go through my questions is, if you were going to do that, you would have already done it. And again, there's a reason why you're here. Okay? I don't always say that to the client. Sometimes I get to the point where I say that. But I go through the questioning sequence. I need to talk to some of your other clients first. Now, I'll tell you that my mentor, Adam Urbanski, is one of the people who really helped me with this one. Because when I was as I do sales conversations for him and enrolling people in his program, his high-level program, people would always often say, well, can you send me some testimonials? And one time he just said, the funny thing about that, Shameca, is it's not like we're going to send them any clients that told us something bad. We're going to send them the best testimonials that we have. So that's a cop-out. So now I take it from that space of they need more information. What is the information that they need in order for me to help them get through this point? Because it doesn't matter, the people I'm going to give them to talk to, or the testimonials I'm going to give them, these are testimonials of people that are going to say, Shameca is great. She's phenomenal. She does the best job ever. I'm not going to tell them about people who don't think I'm great, right? The sixth one, I don't know if your group will help me. I don't know if your group will help me. The cool thing about this, guys, is as you start to script these out, when they come up, you'll be cool, calm, and collective when you go through your questioning sequence, when you diffuse them. You don't just say, okay. You'll already be ready for them. You'll have a story of a person who didn't think it would help them too. So you want to make sure that you do this homework and script this stuff out, or know what story you're going to tell in that instance. The next one, I don't want your group. I'll save up to work with you privately. I've had people tell me that. I don't want to do groups. I can't afford private right now. And if I offered them a group, it's because I don't believe that they're ready for private work with me yet. The group is probably their next best step. So I have a series of questions of people or stories that I tell about people who started there, who felt the same way. And then again, the same questioning sequence. And I'll go through that questioning sequence again so that you guys have it. I already have that bonus. So when you offer a bonus, they're like, oh, I have that already. You know, some of you guys sell products. So you say, I'm going to gift you a free XYZ if you sign up today. And they go, oh, I already have one of those. So you want to have, you know, something to say where you're not stumped. Okay. What if your program doesn't work? What if it does? Then what? You know? Usually for me, this is one of those ones, I'll ask that, but I'll also say something like, and before I get into my series of questions, I'll say, you know, do you really want this? What if it does work? You know, or either you're at the point where you either don't trust me, one or two things, you either don't trust me or you don't trust you. Which one is it? And then they'll share. Number 10, I'm already working with another coach, bought a similar product or service. What do you say to somebody who says that? There's a reason why they're on the phone with you. So that same series of questions works for this. Or have a story of somebody who also has multiple people that they're working with or are using a similar product or another product and what they thought about your product instead. Like for Sorel, I know that you're selling a brand new makeup product that no one's tried. It's, you know, I don't know if I could say it. Well, Tyra's new line. What if they were a Mary Kay person or Mary Kay is what they use? What do you say? Find some stories of people who switched over. What are the things that they love about this product? Again, not being defensive, tell the story of someone and why they thought this product was awesome for them. Not even necessarily better, okay? I know I want to work with you, I'm just not ready. I know I want to work with you, I'm just not ready. I know I'm going through these fast, guys. I think what I may do, even those of you who are, some of you are on this call as guests, so I may send you out the recording, but you're going to have to let me know you want it because you're not in the group officially, so you won't get the replay. Just let me know. Shoot me a message and let me know you want the recording, and then I will send it out to you as a gift. I've spent so much money on other products, services, programs, coaches, weight loss, whatever it is. I need to guarantee this will work. I need a guarantee. Now, I'll tell you this, you guys should all have a guarantee. But if they need to guarantee that it will work, you know, the common denominator in all the other products and programs they spent is them, is not you. So who do they need to be to make this work? Again, stories of other people who have said the same thing. And then your series of questions. Have these things in your back pocket. I'm giving you this as a gift for you to walk yourself through this so that when it comes up, you already know what story you can tell. When this comes up, you already know what your series of questioning is going to be. My credit cards are maxed. Credit cards are maxed. Oh gosh. I mean, this probably seems like one where you're going to say, oh gosh, I need to stop there. But again, it's a series of questions and then figuring out where they can actually find the money. Okay. I've had people tell me they didn't have the money because they thought they needed the cash in their bank account and they didn't know I accepted credit cards. You know, what ways do you have to help people? I have a way where I can use PayPal, and PayPal has this 6 months same as cash thing. I've used that. So all I have to do is send them an application to that. It's linked to my product, and they've got 6 months to make it happen before they have to pay a dime. So just start coming up with ideas and ways of how you can support them. So again, question series, a story that you can tell, or help them solve the problem. That's how you diffuse the objection. I have a lot of travel coming up. Again, buyers are liars. Most of us do work where we don't have to see people face to face. A lot of what you do, if you record, let them know, they can send their questions ahead of time. But again, don't start to defend immediately. Start asking questions, because you want them to figure out why am I saying I need to wait when in reality I cannot afford to wait. So the series of questions or a story of somebody who you've had that's come through or that you know has had a similar situation, or solve the problem. Okay? Only solve your problem after you've what? Isolated the objection. Only solve the problem after you're sure that that is the only problem they really have. Okay, so if I were solving that problem, I would say, if I can solve the problem of you traveling, is there anything else that would stop you from moving forward today? And if they say no, I've got the money, if they tell me that that's the only issue, then I would start to share with them the fact that things are recorded, the fact that they can listen in from anywhere. All they need to do is set aside the time. They have access to me. So I'll start to diffuse that. Once I isolate it, then I'll solve the problem. Okay. 15, I can get cheaper somewhere else. This is one I'm pretty sure you get defensive on. If you have stories of people who thought the same thing and try to do it themselves and go the cheaper route, and it's been, especially those of you who do like marketing, or you're selling makeup products, different things like that, stories work really, really well for this one. I'm a little gruff when it comes to, it's cheaper somewhere else. I won't take you guys through my route of how I diffuse this one. Because I'm really in your face with my sales conversations with people, because I know it's about their destiny, it's about their purpose, and they're playing small. But the stories, I think, is the best for this one, as well as, again, taking them through that questioning sequence. You charge too much, same thing. What's too much? Your price is too expensive. My health isn't well. I actually just had this happen. I won't share in detail, but I had somebody call me and they just got a diagnosis that wasn't good. So again, stories, diffuse the question, stories, questions, or isolate the objection and then solve the problem. Blank programs don't work. Group programs don't work. One-on-one programs don't work. Digital programs don't work. Same thing. Series of questions. Why do you need this? Get them to understand why it's important for them to start there. I don't have time. I can do it on my own. I don't want to spend that much money on XYZ. The typical jerk reaction to this is to say, well, here's why you want to spend the money. Again, you go through that questioning sequence. Well, do you think this is the right program for you? Would you do it if money wasn't an issue? So going through that series of questioning. I'm too far in debt, and it's just not responsible to do that. I've had that come up a lot. Again, same series of questions. If they want what it is that they desire to have, and this is the next step for them to get there. Literally, for me, showing people how to make money, you're not going to get out of debt, keep continuing to do what you're doing right now. And I don't necessarily view investing in your business as debt necessarily. There's good debt and there's bad debt. So you also have to look at each one of these objections and really take yourself through, what's my position on this? How can I stand in my power on this and know what I believe, so that I can ask these questions with some authority and not just believe what they say and let it sit. Okay? I don't want to tap into my savings, which most people end up doing anyway if their business is going under. I don't want to tap into my emergency fund. I don't think I need the help. I have to think about it. I'm looking at some other people's programs right now. I definitely have to say this one is definitely a buyers or liars one. It's like the fastest thing people can say to get you off the phone. Well, I'm going to check out this other one and then I'll get back to you. And sometimes that could be the case. But for me, I'm always looking to push somebody to a decision of yes or no for themselves, because when we're in a state of indecision, it's not good for our bodies. Okay, we're almost done with this, and I'm going to open up the lines again. I'm going to spend my money on X versus your program. Okay, have something to say about that. Sometimes you just got to know if somebody's a good fit or not too. I'll work with you in the future. I never do that one. I always tell people, no, you won't. No, you won't. And at that point, it depends on who they are. Sometimes I'll just tell them, you won't. The number one reason why you won't is because people don't come back. But the number one reason why you won't is because I'm not going to let you. Because you're just not ready. There is no, I'll work with you in the future. And if they're like that in this part of their life, they're going to be like that. They always think they have time. Time is not on our sides to do what we need to do. I've already done your program. I'm good for now. I've seen my friend take your program and it didn't work for him or her. Ouch. Different people are different, right? Again, ask questions, diffuse the situation. I don't think I have enough access to you. I've given you 3 ways to overcome objections, but just always know in solving the problem, know that people can always upgrade. You might have offered them one thing. There might be a way that they can upgrade for more access. Okay, so questions, story, solve the problem. Those are the 3 top ways I'm giving you to overcome objections. Questions, stories, solve the problem. Just decide which one you want to use. So for each one of these, you want to have all 3 of those already listed so you're not stumped when they come up. What's my story for this objection? What's my questions for this objection? And how do I solve this problem for someone if I isolate the objection? If I know that this is the only real problem? One day I'll work with you. I just know it. Again, no, you won't. And then there's no way I could afford that amount. Okay. So let's do this. I'm going to put this list up here so you guys can see it. I'll read it at the end, but I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines or see if there's anybody who has a role play that they would like to do or another question. So let me make sure I'm doing this right, and I'm not. I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. Okay. All right. Going into the group here. All right, so we're going to be bringing this to a close. I know I at least have time for one. So if you have a question, let me know you have a question, and I'll either type it in the chat box or type it in the Facebook group, or you want to do a role play on a specific objection. Just checking here to make sure I'm not missing something. Okay, awesome. All right, let's see. And if I don't have questions, then I'll just go through reading the, or no one wants to do a role play, then I'll just go through reading the how do you help people find, the 20 ways to help people find money. Okay, going once, going twice. Anybody want to role play an objection that they get? Let me refresh my screen just to make sure. Okay. Okay, so I don't have questions, so I'm gonna move on because we're close to wrapping up time anyway. Okay. Ooh, that was loud. There was like some kind of reverberation going on there. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. So 2 things I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is go through the top 20 ways to help clients find the money to work with you. And then I'm going to go back through that question sequence to make sure that you have it. And then I'm going to remind you of what your homework is to have done before our next call. I'm available in the Power Players Playground group. If something comes up, questions come up, you have a conversation and it didn't quite go the way you thought it would, and you want some feedback on how to handle it, just post it in there, okay? So the top 20 ways to help clients find money to work with you. So once you've isolated and you've really figured out that money is their top objection, I will usually in service, again, just share with people, like, I truly believe in you. Like, I want this to happen for you. And so would it be okay with you? You always want to get permission. If I help you figure out ways that you can find the money, create the money, come up with the money to do this, because we've already taken them through the questions where they've said, hey, this is why I need to do this, but I just don't have the money right now. Okay. I start with credit cards. You will be surprised how many times people don't think, oh yeah, I do have a credit card that I can put this on, or I can put payments on, right? Can they increase their limits on their credit cards? Sometimes just a simple phone call to say, hey, can I get a credit card increase? And then their limits are increased, and now they have the money to either start the down payment so they can start to create income, or they have enough money to pay it off. They can split it. Okay, so they can split it among different credit cards. A lot of times when people figure this out, they're like, oh yes, I got like 8 credit cards. I have 2 actually that have enough. So they'll say, oh, I don't have enough of my credit cards. Then they figure out, oh, there's 3 credit cards that I can use. And we can put some of it on there, some of it on another one. So splitting it, okay? That's the third way. The fourth way is, can you apply for a line of credit? You know, it's a business expense. For me, it would be a business expense. I know some of you are in different industries. Can you get a line of credit that will help you do that? I talked about that PayPal line of credit. That actually kind of comes through me. PayPal pays me immediately, but they have 6 months, same as cash. So I'll ask them if they can do a line of credit on their own, and then I offer them the ability to do it that way also. I can't remember what it's called, the PayPal thing, but it's a, like I said, a 6 month same as cash line of credit that they give you. And you can do it for almost anything. Do you have stocks or a 401k? Any zero interest credit cards that you can use? Is there something they can sell that's tangible? Again, I had a client sell something on eBay to enroll in the program once. Sell a product. They might have a product that they currently have that they haven't tried to move at all. Maybe they've just been giving it as bonus. I've had clients do a flash sale where they sold a product for 50% off, or they brought back a product that was only available to people who enrolled in their high-level programs and sold it, and people wanted access to that. So let's say you have a program that's $5,000, $3,000, $10,000, and the only way people can get access to that program is by enrolling in those programs. Well, now you pull it out and say, hey, for 3 days, I'm going to sell this, or for the next 24 hours, you can buy this program, which is usually only available with this investment. People will buy. A private loan, a bank loan, a family member, your husband or your wife, your spouse, an ex, it's happened, inheritance, savings. Sometimes people just aren't thinking, they're just thinking in the immediate. So you're just helping them open up the floodgates of possibility. How can I make this happen? How can I make this happen? And different things will pop up. Collecting money owed to you. I've literally walked people through this list, sent this list to them after our conversation too, and had people call because they hadn't followed up on people who owed them payments to their program or borrowed money for them. They called each and every person on that list and had enough money to pay for the program. And all they needed to do was call. People forgot, or maybe they switched credit cards. I had one lady who her credit cards were stolen, and so, you know, it was on an automatic payment, but it didn't go through. Well, if I had never called and followed up with her, I would have never known that I needed a new credit card number anyway to even collect the money. So following up and collecting money owed to you. Friends or colleagues that are in support of you who want to see you succeed. Sell your services, same as sell a product. Get on the phone and make it happen. I've walked people through plans. Okay, let's make a plan. What are you offering now? And I'll help them create the product or the program right there over the phone. You can do this XYZ for $1,000 or for $500, making it a no-brainer kind of thing that they can offer to people. And then they get on the phone and they sell their services and they come back and go, okay, I'm ready. I'm willing to do that to help them get where they want to go and what they need. And then the last one, a teleclass. So same thing, you can do a paid teleclass. You don't have to do a free one. You have so much value to give. You can do a little training on anything and charge, $100, $197. I did It was actually, it ended up being a one-day thing. It was only 3 segments. We took an hour break or 30-minute break in between each segment. So it was like half a day for me. And I sold it for $197. There were 20 people on the call. Out of that call, I ended up making almost $25,000 offering my upsell to that program just by doing that. And I did it very, very quickly with the knowledge that I already have. So just helping people to think outside of the box really, really helps. So those are the top 20 ways. So that list comes in handy. I literally go through it with every client who says they don't have the money until we find something that works for them. Unless they end up not really having the money, which never happens generally, because I do a qualification form application that asks them where they are financially in their business. So you probably shouldn't be having sales conversations with people who aren't a good fit, meaning they can't buy your services. So your qualification process ahead of time needs to be such that you can qualify whether or not they're in a bracket or in a space where they can afford to invest in you some way, somehow, or else you're just wasting your time. Okay. Okay. So the last thing I said I wanted to do was, again, go right back through the questioning sequence so that you have it. Okay. So the first question that you want to ask powerfully, and this is for those of you guys who've never done this before, and I've given you some ideas of different ways to do this, but this is just a script to get you started. You'll start to learn more powerful questions again as you hang out with me more, as we do more of these trainings, and as you get used to what happens in your own sales conversation. So the first one is it true? Is that true? So whatever the objection is that true? Is that the truth? Then you have your why questions, or I'm sorry, the first one is, do you really want this? So is it true? Do you really want this? Why do you want it? If the answer is yes, if the answer is no, run. If the answer is yes, why is this right for you? Why is it something that you need, or your business needs, or your body needs, or your health needs, whatever it is that you're selling? Then how will you get XYZ? All the things they said they desired, wanted, need. How will you get marketing? How will you make money? How will you lose weight? How will you find your man, your boyfriend? How will you get PR without this program, without this course, without my help? How will you get it? Let them think about it. Okay, well, how am I going to do this? And if it's I don't know, they'll start to realize I need this. How much time do you think it will take you to get there, to accomplish it, to accomplish your goal without having the accountability, without having the support? What are the pieces of your program that will help propel them forward, without having access to knowledge very quickly, without having access to the step-by-step process of how to get XYZ done, without having the done-for-you programs, templates, whatever it is that you provide? How much time will it take you to get there, as opposed to having that already accessible at your fingertips? Okay. Again, you are asking them questions for 2 major reasons. The first reason is to help them get into reality. Because when they're in fear or in that protection mode, they're usually not grounded and rooted in reality. So get them in the reality of the situation, not rooted in their story, but in what reality really is. When you hang up the phone, and if you haven't made a decision to move forward, what is it really going to be like for you? And then 2, to see why they need to figure out how to come up with the money. That's the 2 reasons why you're asking them these types of questions. Okay, so the top 3 ways to diffuse objections. I want to make sure I'm driving this home. Top 3 ways. Questions. Always open your mouth and start with a question. Take some time, breathe, get into your own power and in your leadership role and authority, and lead them to a point of decision through questionings. I've given you a good, powerful sequence of questions to ask. The second way that you could diffuse it is with a story, but the story must be powerful and it must be tied directly to the objection with the outcome that you desire for them to have, or they desire to have for themselves. So tell them a story about somebody else who experienced that before. It can even be you, but it needs to be a powerful story. Okay, so I'd rather you lead with questions until you really learn how to tell powerful stories. But if you do have powerful stories that you can tell that really paint the picture for them, then go ahead and tell a story. So questions, stories, and then the last one is solve their problem. Solve the objection, solve the problem. But never ever solve that problem until you isolate the objection to make sure that is the true, real, and only problem that will stop them from moving forward. So Mr. or Mrs. Jones, if money were no issue, if you knew that your husband would say yes or your wife would say yes, is there anything else that would stop you from moving forward and making a decision to move forward and do this today? Is there anything else I need to know? Is there something else on your mind? Let them tell you. And if they're like, no, I'm in, if that was solved, then we could do this. Then solve the problem. Solve the problem at that point. And that at that point only, if it's a money issue, which is the number one objection you guys get, that's the only point where I will start to share the ability to have a payment plan, the ability to figure out where money is coming from, the ability to even pay, next Friday as opposed to today, to get started in 2 weeks. And I'll usually say something like, I can probably help you have the best of both worlds. What it requires for you to make a decision today, so you have to say yes. The other requirement is that I will take your payment information as if we are moving forward, but I won't process it until this date, XYZ. So that typically happens with me all the time. I get the sale, they get the ability to move money around, do whatever it is that they need to do, and then they're in the program at that date. Now, I won't do 30 days. It's just a few days. The furthest I've ever gone is 2 weeks, and that's typically with somebody that I know, because I'm telling them, like, I don't want to do this if this is just a game. If you're ready and you really know that you need it at this date, then we'll do it. Okay? So that's typically how that conversation goes. So that's it. So I'm going to take you guys off mute just to make sure as we wrap up. I mean, this is just a training call. So here I am trying to figure out how to work this thing again. Okay, here we go. So I'm unmuting everybody. And I just want to make sure that you guys don't have any questions or anything that's come up that I didn't answer. I know some of you guys don't have the ability to type in chat or can't type in the Facebook group so far. So your line is unmuted. If you want to talk, just say, hey, Shameca, it's so-and-so, and then I'll acknowledge you and answer your question. And I'll give you guys about 5 seconds.
Hey, Shameca, it's Joe. This has been awesome. I got to run, though.
All right, cool. Thanks for joining me. If you want the recording, just PM me, and I'll send it to you.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions? Okay. So homework that I want you guys to do, just so that I can be on the clear side, I'm going to put you guys on mute so we have a clean line here for the recording. But the homework, again, mute it, is to go through all 35 of the objections, and you want to make sure that you have a story, a way to solve the problem if you have one. If you don't worry about it. If you don't have a story or a way to solve the problem, that's fine. But you do want to make sure you at least have the series of questions that you would ask someone if that objection came up for you. Okay? So a story and or a way to solve the problem after you've isolated the objection, and a series of questions. So that's it. I mean, that's how you overcome objections. Those 3 things. Excited for you guys. Our next call is next month. We do this every first Thursday. So I'll see you guys on the next call. You have a whole month to practice this in every sales conversation that you have from this month going forward. So I will see you guys soon. The replay and the recording will go out within the next 24 hours. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.